Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another video for y'all. So today's topic is just going to be a get ready with me while I talk about a few things that have to do with self-love. In this video you're going to get my personal self-love tips from my personal experiences that I've dealt with through life so far. I think they're pretty good tips. So if you want to, learn some good self-love tips, something that you might not have thought about before, then continue watching. Also, if you have not already, make sure that you click the thumbs up button because I know you're going to like it, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do have a cool giveaway coming up pretty soon. You're going to need to be subscribed for that. So yeah, get it out of the way. Let's get started. I am so excited to make this video because I actually planned this out probably a month and a half ago, maybe two. One day I was just thinking on my way to work and I jotted down like all these ideas. God put all these ideas in my head and I was like, I need to tell my subscribers. Ooh, I need to put on Vaseline. Okay, so these are gonna be my top tips for getting back to yourself and just self-love in general. I want to start by saying that I am not an expert. I did not go to school for psychology and love and self-care and self-awareness. Everything that I'm saying is something that I've learned from my own experiences. I am only 23, so I know I haven't even experienced everything that I will experience in life. But so far, I have enough to make a YouTube video, I would say. The first tip I want to give out for getting back to yourself and loving yourself is addressing the root of where you lack self-love. And I do feel like this is not going to be something that is easy for everybody. I will be honest and say that I still have my issues to this day. We're human, and I think that's something that we all just need to accept. That's the first part, is just accepting that we are human. We have issues. We are not perfect. And this day and age, it just seems like people portray themselves to be, these perfect people. I mean, I'll just flat out say I am far from perfect. Like, I have made countless mistakes, but it's just all part of living. Learning, I think the best part of experiencing or learning something for yourself is to experience it yourself. Back to addressing what the root issue is, some suggestions and tips I would say is to cut certain things out of your life. I feel like we as people have an idea of, what adds value to your life and what doesn't add value to your life. And if you feel like something might not add value to your life, or you're not sure if it adds value to your life, and you feel like it's the cause of you like not being able to like fully love yourself or get back to the old you, then I would say cut it out. Even if it's for a little bit, cut it out. Like, if it's a person, maybe take some time away from that person. Tell that person that you're trying to work on yourself and you need some time for you and some time alone to figure out what you want out of life, or where this hurt or this lack of knowledge for self-reflection is coming from. And if anybody does not want to give you that space, you need to cut them off. Take time to yourself and get to know yourself, especially like if you're young like me and you're still learning yourself. So if somebody does not respect that decision, I just say personally that someone is not for you. I will say I'm not with like completely like doing it the wrong way, like just stop talking to somebody and not even giving them a reason. I don't think you owe anybody a reason, but communicate that you need that space. Don't just like never talk to that person again and then just pop up back in their life and expect everything to be the same if you find yourself going back to that person. And this could be boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, friends, like anything, family, mom, dad, cousin, brother, auntie, aunt, uncle. Like, it could be anything and anyone. Then another tip I would say that I personally need to do myself is try to go to therapy. I know a lot of insurance companies cover therapy, maybe not completely, but I looked into it. I found a therapist that I want. I just I have like such a busy life. I really just haven't had time to go. And before 2019 is even over, like that's definitely something I still want to do, because I feel like therapists probably can help you see things that you can't see yourself. And to me, it's another form of an outlet. And I just feel like in 2019, I really learned to keep a lot of stuff to myself. Like internally, I was just going through a lot, and every now and then I would like say something if my friends noticed like I wasn't being myself. But for the most part, I stayed to myself. Like I just don't even feel like putting my problems on somebody else, or I feel like if I you know, vent to somebody else, that nobody would understand where I was coming from or what I was saying. And I feel like it's a therapist's job to do that. Like they're trained to do that. So why not vent to somebody? And especially if somebody you don't really know, like I feel like that's the best form of advice, because their advice isn't biased. So I would say, one, definitely establish the root of your problem. Tips for that is either to cut certain things out of your life or go to therapy. Another tip I would say for self-love is to, and this is an easy tip you probably heard before, but I would say to write out certain things that you love about yourself. Somebody posted a challenge on Instagram, and the challenge was name maybe like 10 things that you love about yourself. And I feel like we all like say like we love ourselves, which is gonna bring me to my next point. But for some reason I cannot find the 10 things. Like it's like I know I have 10 things that I love about myself, or why I love myself, like 10 reasons why I love myself, but I couldn't even write it down. And to me, that's a problem. It took me a long time, and I don't even know if I finished the list. This was probably over the summer. Every day, just think of, I feel like an easy way to do it is, we all can think of maybe one thing. One day at a time. Every single day, just think of one thing that you truly love about yourself. Write it down. And maybe by the end of the week, you'll have 7 things that you love about yourself. Whenever you get in a situation where you get blinded by, you know, like circumstances or love or any situation at all, and you feel like you're getting back to that place where you lose your self-value, you can bring yourself back to those tips that you wrote about yourself, and you're like, oh, I love myself for this. Like, I know I'm a great person and I give my all in every situation I have. Like, why am I harboring on the fact that somebody else won't love me, or somebody else won't give me attention, or whatever the reason may be? And I apologize for my hair too. It's in the midst of drying, so it looks crazy. I did want to talk about, I think this is so important, and it took me a long time to really understand and implement this into my life, and to know what the difference is. There is a difference between self-love and self-value. You can love yourself all day, but you may not value yourself. I think in my experience, I didn't really start experiencing like, you know, adult things and like heartbreak, and I really haven't had like friendship issues for real, but, or family issues. My issues have mainly been around guys, honestly. So to be honest, to be very frank, but I didn't know like the difference between self-love and self-value. Of course I always loved myself, and I feel like I knew my worth walking into any situation that I had, but I still allowed people to treat me how they wanted to treat me. But it was like in the back of my head, I'm like, I know I don't deserve this. I know I'm worth more. Why am I still here? But I would never walk away. It's because I didn't value myself. I love myself enough to know, like, I know I don't deserve this treatment. I know I deserve better. I know I don't have to stick around for this. And if this may apply to you. It doesn't have to be in terms of a relationship. It could be in terms of a friendship. It can be in terms of like familial connections. It could be in terms of anything. You in the workplace, like you can definitely love yourself, but to value yourself is a completely different thing. And so I would go through like multiple situations where, well, I wouldn't say multiple because it's not like I've been like super heavily involved with that many people, but I still like in any instance, like I would allow people to like treat me any kind of way. And I'm like, Destiny, you know your worth. Like, why are you sitting here letting XYZ talk to you any kind of way, or XYZ treat you any kind of way? Like, it's not making sense. And I would constantly tell myself that, constantly tell myself that, and never really do anything about it. Like, it's just always this voice in the back of my head saying, you know better, you deserve better. But what gives you that strength to walk away valuing yourself? Honestly, it really wasn't until recently, and it's something that I'm still working on. Like, I feel like I'm almost there. What I will say is I feel like self-value and self-love should be a never-ending journey. Always find new ways to love yourself, new ways to value yourself, because every day as people, we should be striving to change and be better people. So that person that you loved 3 years ago is hopefully a new and better person, and you're learning to love the new person that you become. Like, I would hope that I'm not harboring on 20-year-old Destiny and trying to bring 20-year-old Destiny into when I'm like 27. Like, I want to be a completely different person. But I do feel like this year, I remember telling myself going into 2018, I was dealing with like a really horrible situationship. Like, I was just treated like I was the scum on the earth, but we will not get into that. I was just dealing with this situation and I couldn't get past it. Like, I could not get past it at all. And I think towards the end of the year is when I like started, you know, saying like, I know better, I deserve better, I need to start valuing myself more. In 2019, I definitely started valuing myself more because I walked away from that situation. I might have went back a few times, but for the most part, I walked away from that situation. And I could honestly say to this day, nobody will ever have me in that same space that I was in 2018. Nobody could ever do that to me ever again. And now the reason being is not because I said I love myself enough not to do that. I value myself enough not to ever put myself in that situation again and put my foot down and, you know, let these niggas know your worth. Let these friends know your worth. Let these co-workers, let this job place know your worth. You are valuable. And I feel like the more you learn to value yourself, the less bullshit you will take. Honestly, 2019 is the year that I stopped taking bullshit. Like, oh, you're not treating me right? Okay, bye. That's it. Like, that's it. I'm not valuing you. Bye. Friends not valuing you. Bye. Family don't know how to value you. Bye. And it's a progress. Like, you're not gonna walk away from this video. You're gonna walk away from this video with like a new thought process, definitely, but it's definitely gonna take some time to get there. Another tip is just to allow yourself that time. It doesn't matter if you are 35 watching this, 47 watching this, 22 watching this, 16 watching this. Everything happens in its own time. Do not look at somebody else's life, compare like how fast it took them to, you know, get a promotion on a new job, or how fast it took them to be valued by their workplace, or how fast it took them to get over a relationship that they were hurting over for like the past 4 years. Like, you will be you in your own time. I think that is so important to understand that everything works in everybody's own time scale. Stop comparing yourself to others. That's another tip. You are you, and you are uniquely you. And I think the best thing about each and every person is that nobody is like you. Even if you have a twin, a doppelganger, nobody is like you. Somebody can look like you, but we all have different DNA that makes us uniquely us. And I think that's something that we should value about ourselves. Like, I think there are so many things I used to hate about myself. I don't feel like you should ever try to conform yourself to be something that you are not. With that being said, if you are like somebody like me, don't ever let anybody walk over you. Like, by all means, always stand your ground, but don't ever change who you are as a person and try to be this mean person or this bully or this like person that constantly talks crap about people just to kind of fit in with the crowd. Like, if it's not you, then it's not you. And if you feel like you need to do that to fit in with the crowd, maybe you need to find another crowd. There are like, what, 7 billion, 7.5 billion people in the world. I'm sure there's somebody that's just as good as you. Stay true to you. Another tip that kind of goes into that tip is to write down what you want to fix about yourself. I think it is okay to understand that we are not perfect. We have our faults. We have things that we would want to fix about ourselves. I'm a procrastinator. Like, I do everything at the absolute last minute. And it's something that I've always done and I hate it about myself. So I personally, once this video is done, I'm gonna write that down. And I told myself I wanted to do like a 21-day challenge, because you know it takes 21 days to break a bad habit. If I can go like 21 days without procrastinating just to break that bad habit. I say if you have bad habits, write them down, work on it day by day, maybe do a 21-day challenge like I probably will do, and try to change that about yourself. Again, with that being said, don't ever try to change yourself to conform to somebody else's standard. Do it because it's something that you truly want to do. I think there are different things that we can do as men and women to be comfortable with like being alone. I think one time I called my mom and I was just like, yeah. She was like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm like out to eat by myself. I think I was like on lunch break and I just like went to a restaurant and ate by myself. She was just like, by yourself? Like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, like I was going through nothing at the time. Like, I was like, I just want to enjoy myself. Like, I literally wake up, spend 9.5 hours a day with people who aren't even family. No offense to my coworkers, but like I spend all my day at my job. I come home, and I don't know if you live by yourself. I live with like my family, but which is no issue. Like, I'm not saying I mind my family, but here I am, like, again, in like somebody else's space. Like, it's like, when do I ever have time for myself? Like, there is nothing, whoa. There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with self-care and spending time alone. I feel like the more comfortable you are being alone, the less likely you are to fall victim to a lot of different things. And for example, I need to get this off my face because it's bothering me. Hold on one second. To be very transparent with you guys, I was in a relationship for a really long time, and I think there was a point in the relationship where I knew that wasn't where I wanted to be, but I knew nothing else, and I did not know how to be alone, so I just stayed there, if that makes sense. And I gave myself every reason, and I forced myself to believe like, oh, it was love, like that's why I stayed. Like, I'm not saying it wasn't, I think it was at a point, but my mind created all these excuses as to why I should stay, not realizing that the true reason that I did not want to leave was because I did not know how to be alone. Once you learn how to be alone, you won't get attached to certain things. Like, if I knew how to be alone, I would have been out of the situation I was in a long time ago, and it would have saved me like a lot of trouble. Not to say it was a terrible situation, because it definitely wasn't, but my point being is you can't see certain things clearly when you're like attached to someone. And I think there's forms of healthy attachment, and I think there is forms of unhealthy attachment, and I was definitely in a situation where I was unhealthily attached. And again, I don't want to make everything about relationships, because self-love is definitely not about just relationships. It's about friendships. It's about the root of your problems. It's about getting back to you, and like there's a million different reasons. So I'm just, like I said, I'm using a relationship as my particular example, because that's kind of like the only situation where I've had like issues. Like I don't have many friend issues at all. Like I don't have family issues. Well, I have family issues, but not in this instance in regards to self-love. Some things you can do to learn how to spend time alone is to take yourself on a date. I said I always wanted to, I've taken myself out to eat like multiple times, but I've always said I wanted to take myself like to the movies by myself, like up a new hobby. So another tip I would give is to pick up a new hobby. So I started this like cool thing over the summer, and I put like one of my line sisters onto it, and she was just like, I'm so glad you put me onto it. Like it's just so therapeutic. Like I just feel so like detached from everything, but in a healthy way. Basically like we created these like separate Instagram pages where we did not even follow ourselves. Like I mean, it was just completely different. Nobody knew about it. And I personally, I went to a performing arts high school, and I majored in photography. So I like always love photography. Like I want to get back into photography. Like I don't really love taking pictures of people because people are picky. I like to take pictures of like scenic things, nature, and things like that. So I made this Instagram page. Nobody knows the name of it besides my line sister, because we decided like to follow each other's pages. And I get to upload all of my photography on this page that nobody knows about, and I like hashtag it, and it's people from like all across the US like liking and commenting on my picture, but it's nobody that I know. Like I said, aside from my line sister, nobody that I know. And so it's almost like I get to step out and be almost a different person in a different world, because sometimes like you just feel like you want to be disconnected from your everyday life, and I feel like that hobby gets me that. And I actually stepped out of it for probably like a month, maybe 2-3. That's one idea of a hobby that you can do. Think of something that you love to do and just do it. It doesn't even have to be for money. I'm not making money off of the stuff that I post, and it would be great if I did, but I'm not. It's just something, it's a creative outlet for me. So yeah, I definitely love that. And again, how that reflects back to self-love, it just gives me the opportunity to step outside of the current world that I'm in and give myself something different. Delete your social media for a bit. I do this all the time, and I will get right back on social media. Like, but I will say, when I do delete it, it's usually it's never for more than a week. It's normally for like a couple days. Sometimes it's a couple hours. And even if it's a couple hours, like that's enough. If you are somebody who's constantly on your phone, like me, constantly on social media, like me, like just delete it. I don't care if it's for an hour, just delete it. Like I feel like that's another way to step outside of the current world that you're in. And the reason I wanted to delete my social media was because sometimes I'm just like, I see people tweet stuff, and I'm just like, what is going on in the world right now? Like, I don't want to be a part of it. Like, I really wish I was one of those people who just didn't have social media at all. I mean, it is something by choice. Like, I choose to have social media, but I wish I was one of those people who like didn't have social media. And I don't want to have a life that revolves around social media, if that makes sense. But now, me trying to be an entrepreneur and going the direction I am, I need social media for my business and my YouTube and stuff like that. So I can't get away from it right now, but if I could, I would definitely like just delete it all. Like, I just want to have this life. I don't know what social media is. So now I will say I would miss Twitter, because Twitter's my jam. Twitter is hilarious. Have some you time. This kind of goes into the hobby thing. Something I love doing, I used to love doing, was cooking. Cooking is therapeutic to me. Like, I love cooking. I love chopping onions. Like, I love creating different dishes. Like, I just got away from it because, again, I didn't have time. But to me, like, that's my me time. Like, I'm in the kitchen. Like, I get to create. And I get to eat it after. Like, it's the best. Like, have me time more often than you should. If anything, minimum, I would say give yourself one day to yourself a week if you can. If not, give yourself a couple hours to yourself. And I'm not talking about sleeping. When you're sleeping, you can't connect with yourself. Like, I think it's good to have me time for your own sanity. So definitely have me time, but definitely still have friends. Like, don't have friends. I know a lot of people probably have a lot of friends. I personally have always been someone who has a very, 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 very small friend group. Like a very small friend group. I think that's something that I decided to be comfortable with for myself. Like, I'm okay with having a small friend group. I don't need a large friend group. I'm just not super extroverted like that. Like, it's just not me. But I feel like 2017 was the year like I made the friend group that I have now. Most of them I would say are my line sisters, but that's where I really learned like how valuable friends can be when one, you are like going through something, because at that time I was going through a breakup, and they were there for me every day, and it honestly didn't even feel like I went through a breakup because they were there. Like, I think I might have cried once and I moved on because we were just so busy. We had so much fun. Like 2017, if any of my line sisters are watching this, they know it was the year. Like, it was the year. Yeah, definitely go out with your girlfriends. Like, if you have girlfriends, even if it's one person, two person, five people, like, go out, have fun. Like, I feel like regardless of what happens in life, whether it be like work, again, relationships, family, like, your girls, you can always fall back on them for anything. Like, I realized when I was like in and out of these flings with like different guys, like, one thing that remained the same was my girls. Like, they always had my back. Like, I'm like, I don't need them. Like, I got y'all. Like, I'm good. Like, y'all remain solid from the beginning. Y'all still here. Like, I never have to worry about y'all loyalty whatsoever. So I would say go out with the girls, make a good friend group, and stick to it. Taking care of your body. Taking care of your body is self-love. This is something that I absolutely need to work on because, like I said, I like to cook, but I was raised a certain way, so I didn't know anything about like healthy eating. I realized I put bad things into my body. Like, I would eat anything. I would eat a greasy burger. I would eat fried chicken. And if you're like me and you were raised on like not really worrying about like healthy food and stuff like that, I didn't realize it until I got older that this stuff really affects my body. Like, I went pescatarian for a month just because, and I realized I was not half as tired as I would go to work. When I like ate what I wanted to, I would go to work and I would just be tired for no reason. Like, I slept 8 hours that night, drank coffee in the morning, and I would just still be tired, but I didn't realize it was because I was putting bad stuff into my body. So I went pescatarian for a month and I started eating like more vegetables, more fish, less heavy meats, like no red meats at all, because I used to eat Chipotle every day. I still kind of do, but no red meats at all. Red meat makes me tired, like so tired, and I realized that a long time ago when I had a Beyond Burger from a place down here, and I ate it and it almost felt like I was not as lethargic, and it felt like I did not eat anything. I didn't feel sleepy. I just felt great and I had energy. And this was like a it's called a Impossible Burger. Crazy thing is, I refused to get it because I was like, no, Dad, like, it'll taste nasty. I don't want it. Like, you get it, I'll eat a piece of yours, and I'm gonna eat my regular beef burger. Why was his burger, like, it tasted better than mine? It tasted so much better. So something I definitely want to get rid of is eating meat and dairy. I know I shouldn't eat dairy anyway because I'm lactose intolerant. And I pay for it every time. Like, it's very mild for me, so like, TMI, but I'll just like get gassy at most. I mean, it's a sign that it's something that shouldn't be in my body. So it's like, why am I constantly putting these bad things in my body and my body is telling me that it doesn't want it, you know? Preach. Definitely trying to now in my life incorporate more veggies and different forms of healthy food. Like, I eat tofu now, not on my own. Like, I'll go to Chipotle and get like a tofu bowl, but I think part of that step is just being educated and knowing what's healthy and what's not. Like, I would spend all day at work looking at recipes and I'm like, well, should I eat this because is it healthy? Like, I don't really know what's healthy besides veggies and greens. Like, I'm sure there's more I'm sure there's more to it than just like veggies and fruits, but how would I know, you know? Like, recipe doesn't say that. I don't pay attention to calories and stuff like that. And it's something that I definitely should pay attention to, because I feel like this is constant for a lot of Black people too, but I know particularly in my family, like, high blood pressure runs in my family. And I'm actually pre-hypertensive, so every time I go to like patient first for like a checkup or anything, like, it'll say pre-hypertensive, saying you don't have high blood pressure, but you could easily get it. And what do? I still put hella salt on my baked potato. Like, it's like, why do I keep doing this to my body? Like, I need to love my body and my body will love me back. That wrapped up almost everything. There's one thing that I didn't write down that I want to add to. Oh wait, I didn't even finish my makeup. Hold on, wait. The last thing I want to talk about is self-discipline. So this is definitely something that I have recently been working on. Self-discipline applies in so many more ways than you know. Like, I have hardly any self-discipline, like, hardly. When you learn to discipline yourself, it's a form of loving yourself, because discipline is saying, no, I'm not gonna invest my time into this, or no, I'm not gonna do this for right now because I know that there's something better for me. For example, no, I'm not gonna eat this burger because long term that burger might cut my life down maybe by 5 years, or I'm exaggerating, like, I'm not a doctor, but or this burger can lead to like pre-hypertension or me having high blood pressure. So I'm gonna say no right now because I know in the long run it'll benefit me. Like I said, it's something that I definitely have to work on, and I thought about it in every single aspect of my life, and I was like, Destiny, you have absolutely no self-discipline and you need to work on it. You need to get it together. Because I thought about the situations that I've dealt with as far as like situationships or relationships, and I'm just like, I'm like, you know, I wouldn't be in this situation if I had enough self-discipline to say, you know, no, I'm gonna walk away from this because I know in the long run it won't serve me. Like, I would sit in situations knowing that I should not be there, and because it's what I wanted to feel for the moment, you know, when long term I knew it wouldn't last anyway, and I should have just, you know, haven't left, you know. Or for example, I need to go to the gym. Like, my mom tried to take me to the gym because my mom is like a health nut. And so my mom tried to take me to the gym one time, and I did like a couple of exercises and I just quit. And part of why I quit was because, one, people were staring at me. So if you're one of those people who go to the gym and stare at people, please stop. It's so annoying. But another part of it was because I couldn't push myself to get over that point. If I had did one more sit-up, I would not have died, you know, off of one more sit-up. Like, that one more sit-up would have got me over that point, that threshold of what I felt like I could not do. I needed to have enough self-discipline to myself to say, you have one more push-up, or one more, sit-up, because I don't do push-ups. You have one more sit-up, sit up, and that's all you need to do, you know? And going to the gym in general, like, I really want to be a gym rat. Like, I do, because I feel like it's such a good form of therapy. Like, you can go to the gym and just work off anything that you need to, or you can go to the gym and build the body that you want. But I can't get myself up to go to the gym, because why? For me, I'd rather like lay around in my bed when I do have free time, because it feels good for the moment. But I'm like, okay, well, 10 years from now when I'm having my baby and I can't bounce back, I'm gonna regret it, you know, because I didn't go to the gym 5 years ago to say today is the day that I'm gonna start to build the body and the life that I want based off of the gym. Or self-discipline goes back to food. Don't eat the food that you know is not good for you. Like, I eat so terrible, but it's so good for the moment, and it's not gonna be something that benefits me in the long run. Like, you really can apply self-discipline to every single aspect of your life. You need to start saying no to yourself. I think the hardest part about self-discipline is that we don't say no to ourselves because we have that authority. And I don't have to do this. I'm me. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. Well, how about you incorporate some discipline into your life? And I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself because I'm looking in the camera too. Like, incorporate some self-discipline in your life and try to do something that benefits you in the long run rather than you having short-term satisfaction. Girl, I went in, you know what I mean? I think I pretty much touched on everything I wanted to touch on as far as, you know, self-love, self-discipline goes, all of that. I do want to incorporate more videos and advice videos and self-care videos like this. I should do like I thought about doing a self-care Sunday like months ago, and I just never did it. So let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Like, and it could be like cooking videos, it could be like a self-care day video, like anything like that. So we just have to get back to ourselves. There is nobody that is gonna do you like you can do you. So that way, I mean, you have to love yourself and you have to value yourself in order to be the best version of you, because nobody can do you as good as you besides God. Nobody. I added a little bit more makeup. We're almost done here, but I just wanted to exit with, before my outro, you know, no matter what you're going through in life, remember at a point that you weren't there and you were okay. So you can get through it. I think self-love and self-care and self-awareness and self-discipline, all of that is a journey in itself. Realize that it takes time to get to the place where you need to be. I'm still working on myself. You have time. Just value yourself and whatever you do in life, and you will be okay.